What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Gonna talk about this Terence Crawford Jeff Horn fight that got postponed, and share something that Jeff Horn's trainer said and Jeff Horn said, and I'm telling you, man, they better be careful. Don't tug at Superman's cape, man. Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. Take your couple extra weeks of training you got to get prepared and use it. Because on the real, it isn't like what they saying it is. But I'll get into what they said in a minute. And then I'll talk about that and a couple other things. But first, I'm definitely going to do a live stream today and talk about this whole thing with Terence Crawford and the postponement of the fight. Jeff Horn, share some thoughts on it. I did a video about it yesterday. If you've not, I gave kind of a complicated breakdown of the things that are going on that made me believe that it might be something in addition to a hand injury from Terence Crawford that's causing this delay. But anyway, man, subscribe. The best way to participate in the live stream is to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. And that way you can be notified of when we have the live streams, because I don't do them on a regular basis. I do them when when my regular day job, I got time, in between to get that done. And also I try to make sure that, if there's somebody else another creator doing a live stream, that I try to stay away from having live streams at the same time that other people do. Now, that said, let me cut to it. Came out in boxing scene today. Team Crawford slams Crawford injury. He's soft. Toughen up. Toughen up, princess. Toughen up, princess. That was a message to Terence Crawford from an angry Jeff Horn camp after the undefeated American postponed next month's world title fight in the United States due to a hand injury. Frustrated WBO welterweight world champion Horn suggested Crawford was foxing, but believed the injury delay had given him a huge psychological advantage. Crawford, 30, earned the ire of Horn's camp after sensationally delaying their April 4th bout in Las Vegas Mandalay Bay Casino due to what it was described as a slight hand injury suffered in a recent sparring session. Horn, 30, was unsure when or where the fight would now be held, admitting it could be June or later, despite May 19th being penciled in. It's another blow for the fight that was already moved from New York to Las Vegas and had been dogged by rumors of poor ticket sales, despite Crawford being considered the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world. American promoters' Top Rank has also been criticized for their lack of promotion, with no official confirmation about the fight in the U.S. despite Horn's camp announcing it last weekend. Horn's trainer, Glenn Rushton, seemed baffled that Crawford would delay the fight over an injury he claimed boxers suffer almost every day at training. He seems a bit soft. Toughen up, princess, Rushton said. I wouldn't see the need in Australia to postpone the fight. I think Terence needs to harden up a bit. Jeff had 8 stitches in his forehead 3 weeks out from the last fight. It was a bad injury and he missed 36 rounds of boxing but still went out and fought. A slight hand injury, put some cortisone into it and let's get it on. Rushton believed Crawford's injury excuse had given Horn a huge mental advantage. I think it does. I think we know he is not as tough as we thought he was, Rushton said. We will treat it as a psychological edge, use it as a positive, and train even harder. Horn was devastated by the news, which delays his United States fight debut. I'm frustrated. Hopefully it's not an injury and it's an injury and not a tactic to try and throw us off our game, he said. I can probably take it as a compliment that they're worried about me and I'm a tough fighter, because they are pulling out of something pretty small. Crawford didn't give much away despite being accused on social media of running from Horn. Some of you fans kill me, y'all assumptions, he tweeted. Horn suggested Crawford needs more time to bulk up. Crawford was preparing to step up to 147 pounds for the first time as mandatory challenger for Horn's WBO title belt. He wants to put those extra couple kilos because that's what he'll need to be competitive against me, Horn said. All right. So that's the gist of what he said. Well, that's the interview. Shout out to Boxing Scene for that interview. All right, man. This is for my Australian subscribers. Shout out to y'all. You know who I'm talking about. Sleep with one eye open. Whole bunch of you cats that come to the channel from Australia and Brisbane. Correct me and make sure I pronounce Brisbane and not Brisbane. Y'all need to get real, man. Y'all got to get real. I'm sure that Jeff Horn will try to use this as for himself is some type of motivation, as saying that Terence Crawford is scared. He's there's not a real reason for him to have pulled out of the fight and what have you. I don't think so. I've pretty much given my breakdown. I might go into it in a couple seconds, but I want to focus on this first. Sometimes you got to be careful the smack you talk. Terence Crawford, man, is not soft. Ain't nobody's kind of soft, and is somebody that is a very, very gritty, very tough fighter that loves to fight. And at a certain point in time, he's going to really sit down on his punches and really try to take it to Jeff Horn. And I don't see, while I've always said that I think Jeff Horn is a good fighter, I have to say, man, and I think Terence Crawford is on another level from Jeff Horn. I don't necessarily buy that it was a soft tissue hand that held up the fight. And I've yet to actually hear Terence Crawford say that it was a soft tissue. I read an article where Bob Arum said that, and the fact that Bob Arum said it, to me, means his explanation, I don't even listen to his explanation because it's Bob Arum. Bob Arum will say anything. Bob Arum is the guy that's quoted as saying, I was lying today. I was lying yesterday, but today I'm telling the truth. That's what Bob Arum does. So for Bob Arum to say that the reason it's postponed is because Terence Crawford had a slight injury to his hand and we're penciling in May 19th and it might be later, that means nothing to me. Unless I hear, and somebody please let me know, because if I didn't hear it, I didn't hear it. And sometimes, oftentimes there's things that people who listen to the channel, subscribers and the like, hear that I didn't get an opportunity to hear. But I never heard it come out of Terence Crawford's mouth. I heard that it was that explanation was attributed to Bob Arum. So if Terence Crawford didn't say it, then I don't know what the reason is, because it's coming out of Bob Arum's mouth. But Princess, look, man, there's some, I don't know if you guys remember, but because some of you guys are younger than me, that there's a guy named Michael Jordan played, was it LeBradford Smith? I think there was a basketball player named LeBradford Smith that went to Louisville. He went to University of Louisville, and he scored like 40 points on I think he might have scored 36 points on Jordan. Jordan had an off day. But everybody was talking so bad about Michael Jordan and how this cat, LeBradford Smith, had, scored all these points on him. And it pretty much, woke the dragon. It woke the dragon. They played another game. The Bulls played whatever team that was with LeBradford Smith. And I think Michael Jordan might have scored 50-something points, but he did like 30 of them in the first quarter. Some craziness like that, where he just pretty much just made an example of him. And sometimes, man, you need to just leave, you need to let giants sleep. And you start calling Terence Crawford a princess, man, you asking for it. You're really and truly asking for it. Just the same way that Mr. Chocolate Brownie is asking for it. Kel Brook talking about with Errol Spence Jr. like, destroy you at 154 pounds. I'll destroy you at 150 pounds. I know you broke my eye socket in 147, but my eye socket will be stronger than 150, 154. So I will destroy you. Come back to Sheffield. Let's do it again and whatever. And Errol Spence is like, look, man, I'll break both your eye sockets next time. Terence Crawford ain't nobody's type of soft. He ain't nothing that looks like soft. Matter of fact, he's quite the opposite. He's quite the opposite. I went to Omaha, Nebraska. Exactly, it was for my daughter's tennis tournament. I went there. I took my camera. I don't think the video's up anymore, but I went by the gym that they were building. Actually, at the time I got that, they were like remodeling the gym that he fights out of in Omaha, Nebraska. Went and talked to people around, like at the McDonald's right around the corner from where he was. Went down and talked to people at the school right around the corner, just to get an idea of who Terence Crawford was from the people that knows Terence Crawford in Omaha, Nebraska. And the conversation I had with one lady who worked at a hotel, it really, really set out to me. I mean, she was like, look, you got to understand. Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford had gotten arrested or faced had a court issue because he had brought a car bought a car for his nephew, or bought a car for his family member. And he took it to a shop, a body shop, to get it redone, right? To get it, whatever you want to do it, like trick my ride, whatever he did, took it to a body shop to get work done on it, to make the car look better for the person he was giving it to. And they didn't do the work. So Terence Crawford goes in with his boys and basically just takes the car, walks in there, tells the dude to take the car up off the lift, had 3 or 4 of his boys in there, and they just rolled the car out, right? And like, nah, man, I'm taking my car and I'm not paying you, because I think he had already paid the guy $3,000, whatever. But the point of the matter is that dude, he's not somebody that's shy. He's not somebody that is just, he's not a princess. He ain't a princess at all, dog. And the lady that I talked to about him, he's like, no, Bud is like that. If Bud wasn't boxing, Bud would be in the street. Bud loves to fight. He's a dude that would be in a lot of trouble if he didn't have the guidance that he has with his, with the people around him boxing. He would be one of these dudes that might run up in your house. That's how she described Bud Crawford to me, right? Not saying he's engaging in that type of stuff actively now, right? Because he's a boxer. He's got a good group of people around him, guiding them, just being a good buffer around him. But other than that, he's a dude that got no qualms at all hurting you. He got no qualms at all hurting you. Now, I don't think so. Calling him a princess, man, dog, just be real careful, man, because just like Glenn Russell said that Jeff Horn had that 3-inch stitch over his head 6 weeks before, they know where those stitches are. You might have talked your way into a hole because they know where the stitches are. And he's cut every single solitary for the last 3 fights, or at least last 2 fights. And I could look at some other ones, see if he's cut before. But I mean, Jeff Horn is very cut. I mean, he opens up. So I do expect a bloody mess for sure in this fight. And more than likely that bloody mess is going to be Jeff Horn. Now, the other thing about it is this ain't Manny Pacquiao. Much respect to the Manny Pacquiao fans who watch the channel. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan as well, no doubt about it. Despite allegations of PEDs and this, that, and the other, right? Because there's a big, in boxing today, it's like you've seen it, or boxing lately, last few years, it seems like you either gotta like one. If you like one fighter, you gotta hate another. Right. So it's not possible for a lot of people to understand that I can be a fan of Manny Pacquiao and I can be a fan of Floyd Mayweather. And I'm going to want to see the best man win. And when Manny Pacquiao was fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr., my take on it was, hey, man, I think Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the better fighter. That fight's going to turn out. Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter, but he's not going to be able to beat Floyd Mayweather. Not on a month of Sundays. It's not going to happen. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is too good. He's too hard to hit. He's too experienced. And he's not scared. And how many years did that fight get held up where people were claiming that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was scared? And it wasn't scared, but Bob Arum was involved. So, hey, man, fights don't get made when Bob Arum's involved a lot of times. But that being said, I feel the same way about Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn. But Terence Crawford is not Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford is not Manny Pacquiao. This is not a damn near 48-year-old dude, dang near 40-year-old man who probably should be fighting at 135 pounds, right? Who is at the tail end of his career. And a lot of people thought Jeff Horn lost to. This is a prime, probably a natural welterweight who is at the top of his game, who has many different looks to give you. You can't even just prepare for one look for Terence Crawford, man, because the dude has got all kind of tricks up his sleeve. He can punch, he can bang with you, he can box, he can bang with you orthodox, he can bang with you, he can box with you orthodox, he can bang with you southpaw, or he can box with you southpaw. He's gonna engage. If he gets you hurt, he's gonna hurt you. He's got power. This is not the dude, man. It's just not the dude. It's not definitely to be calling a princess, man. So be careful what you ask for, Australian fans. If I was Jeff Horn, I would be very respectful, be very nice, and try to catch Terence Crawford slipping. You know? But don't do it like because I think that's what happened with Felix Diaz. And why he started patting Felix Diaz on the head while he was jaw-jacking him. Because he was like, look, dude, you talk too much, man. You talk too much. I'm going to make an example out of you. And it's possible for him to make an example out of you, man. It's definitely possible for Jeff Horn to make an example out of you. He already feeling like he's been slighted by the Boxing Writers of America with all this talk of Vasily Lomachenko being Fighter of the Year and the absolute lack of promotion for this fight. But hey, man, I do agree with I don't believe it's a soft tissue injury. I believe it's a soft money issue. And I believe that's the soft money issue is Bob Arum's issue. That's what I'm led to believe. And the reason I believe that is just because of everything that's been going on with the fight. I did a whole other video on it where I explain it in more detail. So, you can check it out. It's called, Terence Crawford hurts his hand postpones fight because of a hurt hand and why I don't believe it. And basically the reason why I don't believe it is because because this fight was supposed to be a pay-per-view fight. It's supposed to be a pay-per-view fight. And it was supposed to have Manny Pacquiao on the undercard or a co-main event. And how in the world is this going to be pay-per-view if Manny Pacquiao's not signing up to get on the fight? So Bob Arum is still saying that Manny Pacquiao's considering fighting Lucas Matisse or other people, right? One of the people that he bounced around was with Jose Ramirez. And there was another article that came out today or early yesterday where Jorge Ramirez was actually interviewed about what it would be, how he felt about being a potential opponent for Manny Pacquiao. So it's clear that Bob Arum wants this fight to be on pay-per-view. That's on record as him having said that. It's also clear that he wanted Manny Pacquiao to be on the same card. That's on record. It's clear that Manny Pacquiao's not going to be on that because he's not training for the fight. And he said that he's going to be fighting in June with somebody, I forget. With Lucas Matisse. So now this card gets delayed because of a soft tissue injury, something that Glenn Rushton correctly said. And I mean, from everything I've heard, I'm not a in the ring fighter. So what he said, this soft tissue, this happens to everybody else, get a shot of cortisone and let's move it on. Yeah. So, but maybe that's not it. Maybe it really is. Maybe it's the more likely reason, which is that the tickets never went on sale. So even this conversation that this dude's saying in this article where he says, people were concerned about slow ticket sales. I'm not quite sure how you can be concerned about slow ticket sales when the tickets didn't go on sale. Right? That doesn't make sense, man. It's just, if the fight has not been officially announced, there are no tickets on sale. So how could they possibly be concerned about slow ticket sales for a fight where they're not selling tickets? Right? They never even announced the fight. It's been and to boot, if they would have announced it, they could have announced this last week. They could have announced it 2 weeks ago. Right? And it's been flipping back and forth between different venues. I believe all that stuff has to do more with Manny Pacquiao and the desire for Bob Arum to get all those people on a card. He might be trying to strike a deal with Manny Pacquiao to agree to do it and have, even if they had to have Lucas Matisse fight Manny Pacquiao and Top Rank be a part of that deal and get it on the pay-per-view in the same night as this. And I think that they would move the Terence Crawford Jeff Horn fight to get that done. And so anyway, but calling dude the Princess, man, you playing with fire, my man. You playing with fire. But anyway, with that, I'm out. Peace.